friends. Today I am sharing with you my second trimester recap. Today's video honestly is probably going to be really short because I don't have a lot to talk about in regards to my second trimester, which is a good thing. That means there was nothing crazy or I didn't have any complications or anything like that, which I'm super grateful for. Overall, my second trimester experience was definitely that typical second trimester goodness that you hear about and read about. I just had a few symptoms here and there that kind of bothered me on occasion, but overall, second trimester went really well. So if you watched my first trimester recap video, I talked to you about how I was experiencing that all day morning sickness. And for the second trimester, that pretty much went away. But what didn't go away is the food aversions that I had. And honestly, spoiler alert, I'm in the third trimester now and the food aversions are still there. I honestly just don't have a huge appetite for food. It's not really one food in particular, it's just food in general just doesn't sound good to me. And sometimes the thought of eating anything, it almost makes me feel a little queasy. And there are definitely times where I know I need to eat dinner or I know I need to eat lunch. So I just kind of force myself to have a little bit of food. Otherwise, I honestly feel like I could just not eat. So the food aversions were still there and still going strong throughout the entire second trimester. I also experienced occasional headaches and dizziness. That both of those things carried over from my first trimester, although my OB suggested that I try magnesium to help with my headaches, and that actually made a huge difference. I have not experienced nearly as many headaches since I incorporated more magnesium into my daily intake. And there are several ways you can take magnesium, one being a pill form. I think you can mix it. There's a powder you can get, but my preference is either an Epsom salt bath or magnesium lotion, which actually, now talking about it, I need to order more lotion because I'm completely out. But just soaking in a nice warm Epsom salt bath, it is not only beneficial for my body to get that magnesium, but it's just relaxing and helpful overall. And I truly did notice a huge difference in the amount of headaches that I was getting previously before I started incorporating more magnesium into my day-to-day life. So if you are pregnant and you're experiencing some headaches, definitely talk to your healthcare provider and see if magnesium is something that might help you. The last few symptoms that really stood out to me throughout the second trimester was just overall, I have had belly soreness, just in my abdomen, just some soreness there, I think from my belly and my uterus stretching to accommodate this growing baby. And then I also have had a lot of lower back pain and hip pain throughout this entire pregnancy. It's something that's just kind of plagued me and I've been having to deal with on a daily basis. It's just one of those things that being pregnant and your body is changing and growing to accommodate a growing baby. So, the back pain and the hip pain is definitely there, and some days it's worse than others, but I'm pushing through and managing the best that I can. That is honestly it as far as symptoms go. I'm sure there were probably things here and there that I experienced, but overall those were the main ones that I experienced more on a daily basis throughout my second trimester. Something that's interesting to compare in regards to this pregnancy versus my pregnancy with Jameson is that with Jameson, he was so incredibly active in the womb. That kid was always moving. I may have mentioned this in another video or maybe on Instagram. I don't remember at the moment, but if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. But gosh, that kid was so active in the womb. I never had to worry about doing kick counts with him because he was just constantly moving all of the time, all day, all night. He was always moving. And this little girl is very quiet compared to him. And it's just so interesting to have a different experience in that regard. I do find myself having to do kick counts with her because I'll sometimes go the entire day and I'll realize like, gosh, I've only felt her move like once or maybe twice. She is getting bigger now, so I am feeling movements a little more frequently, but throughout my second trimester, I definitely was struggling to feel those movements. So it's just interesting to compare the two and have a completely different experience in that regard. So moving on from symptoms, probably the biggest thing that happened in the second trimester was finding out that we are having a baby girl. I talked about this very briefly in another video, so if you haven't seen that one, I'll link it up in the card up above and in the description box below so you can watch it. But at around 15 weeks, we decided to go to a private ultrasound clinic and find out if we were having a boy or a girl. This happened like right before Christmas, so we both really wanted to know before that, and we wanted to know just so we could start planning things out a little more. So before I get into the initial experience with finding out that this baby's a girl, I think I mentioned this again in another video. Pretty much the entire pregnancy up until that 15-week mark when we found out that this baby was a girl, I was convinced that we were having another boy because my experience with the pregnancy had been pretty much identical to my pregnancy with Jameson. So because of that, I just thought, I was pretty convinced that we were having another boy. So we go into this private ultrasound clinic and the sonographer explained that she was just going to take her time doing the scan and making sure she's getting all the angles she needs to in order to determine if this baby's a boy or girl. And then before she reveals that to us, she would let us take our final guesses. So our experience with Jameson, we also found out a little earlier with him. It was very obvious to us before the sonographer even said anything that he was a boy. As for this baby, as she's scanning my belly, I'm thinking, I'm not seeing the same things that I saw with Jameson. So as she's doing the scan, I'm already thinking, oh man, what if I'm having a girl? And it's funny because after we had the scan done, John and I were talking and he was thinking the exact same thing that I was thinking at that time, was just the fact that there was no obvious boy anatomy parts. The sonographer let us take our guesses. She asked, okay, what do you guys think it is? And we both said, well, we thought it was a boy, but now I think we're both thinking it's a girl. And then she like clicked a little button and the whole room lit up pink and she said, you're having a girl. And I was just like completely shocked. I could not believe it, to be honest. I was so convinced up until that point that we were having another boy. And I don't want to say that I was like disappointed. It was just shocking to find out. If I'm being honest, I would have been perfectly happy with another boy. I would have been totally fine and good to go with having a second boy. So finding out that this baby a girl was just, it was just shocking. I guess that's all I could say. I'm really excited to get to have kind of a different experience this time, maybe with having a boy and then having a girl, at least to just compare to see if it's different or if it's pretty much the same. I mentioned this in another video, so I'm not going to go into details about it, but we do have a name picked out for her. We've had a name picked out for many, many, many years. So as soon as we found out we were having a girl, it was like, oh, that's so easy. We already have her name. We're good to go. So that's about it for this video. I really don't have anything else to talk about in regards to my second trimester experience. I think moving forward, I'll probably do maybe 1 or 2 updates for my third trimester. If you happen to be pregnant and in your second trimester, let me know in the comments down below how you're doing and what your experience has been like. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in another video very soon.